As I peered through my reading glasses, attempting to decipher the art of repotting the plants on the balcony, my phone began to vibrate gently upon the table. The screen illuminated with a name that stirred a sense of nostalgia. Evan. Adjacent to it was a photograph of him cradling baby Simon, their smile so radiant it seemed as though the very essence of sunshine had poured into my living room. In a fleeting moment, my heart was enveloped in warmth. I gently placed the little trowel aside, brushed my hands against my apron, and swiftly answered the call. Mother. Evan's voice emerged, soft and swift, imbued with a weariness that carried a whisper of innocent yearning. Have you been caught up in the whirlwind of life lately? A soft chuckle escaped my lips. My dear, I have embraced retirement. What could possibly occupy my time? As for you, my dear, you seem utterly exhausted. Is there a dilemma at your workplace? Alas, it does not seem to be suitable. He paused, and in the distance, I could hear the delicate, fragmented whimpers of a baby. It is Laura. He appears utterly exhausted. The days and nights have been a continuous dance with the little one. He scarcely finds a moment to rest. She has shed quite a bit of weight. Before he could complete his thought, Simon's cry suddenly sliced through the air, sharp and high-pitched, resonating directly in my ear. Nathan released a deep sigh, laden with weariness and a sense of despair. Do you hear that sweet sound? When this charming little fellow sets his sights, none can resist his allure. Mother, we find ourselves truly at our limit. We find ourselves in need of assistance. In that moment, my heart constricted, drawn by the tender echoes of my grandson's cries. He has just crossed the tender threshold of 3 months. Still in that tender, embraceable phase that warms your heart with just a single glance at a photograph. The charming little round face captured in the picture has brought a smile to my lips on more than one occasion. After Laura's C-section, I felt a deep desire to offer my support in any way I could. However, her mother was visiting at that time, and I wished to tread lightly. With her mother departed, it became evident that the two of them were navigating waters far beyond their depth. Without a moment's hesitation, I assured you of my presence. Fear not. This evening, I shall prepare a bag and, at the break of dawn, procure a bus ticket. Years have slipped by since my beloved husband departed from this world. The house has been enveloped in a stillness, a silence that feels almost too profound, if I may confess. Thus, the opportunity to witness Nathan and the forthcoming baby becomes a chance to feel valued and cherished once more. Ah, that ignited a warmth within my very soul. Once the call ended, I lingered for a moment, my heart brimming, already crafting delicate mental notes. I shall bring along a few delightful little gifts. Perhaps some soft, breathable cotton onesies for the little one. A gentle and cozy embrace for the warmth of summer. Ah, those delightful organic cloth diapers I received from a dear friend some time ago. Far more tender on the skin than the disposable options found in stores. Ah, for Laura, I recall her fondness for those delightful collagen gummies she once spoke of. They claim to be beneficial for the skin. I shall bring along a few boxes, perfectly suited for the tender journey of postpartum recovery. As I glided through the house, gathering the scattered remnants of my day, that subtle ache of loneliness I had been harboring began to fade, replaced by a gentle hum of anticipation. I even unearthed an old parenting guide I had cherished, believing I could refine my skills in crafting baby food or gently alleviating colic with tender massage. Ultimately, it was I who nurtured Nathan into the person he is today. Now that he has a child of his own, how could I possibly remain a mere spectator? Assisting others is not merely a task, it is a privilege to embrace. Even if it required challenging this weary form, every bit of effort would be a treasure well spent. It was a vision I could effortlessly conjure in my mind. 3 generations gathered beneath one roof, the melody of laughter dancing through the halls, a slumbering baby nestled gently against my chest. The mere thought of it brought a smile to my lips. The following morning, I found myself standing before Evan's charming abode, a heavy suitcase trailing behind me while I gently cradled a beautifully wrapped gift bag in my arms. Within were delightful boxes of collagen gummies for Laura, alongside a selection of soft, breathable onesies for the precious baby Simon. My heart brimmed with eager anticipation. The door gracefully swung open, revealing Evan's familiar, radiant face that shone with warmth. "Mother, you have arrived. Step inside, allow me to take your bag for you." With a graceful fluidity, he lifted the suitcase and set it aside, his movements imbued with an effortless charm. I gently leaned past his shoulder, absorbing the charm of the living room. It was quite orderly, yet the atmosphere carried that distinct aroma of baby formula and diapers, intertwined with a damp, sour essence, reminiscent of the lingering traces of fatigue and unease that had gracefully woven themselves into the very fabric of the walls. With grace, Noah stepped out of the bedroom, cradling the baby in her arms. She donned a flowing house dress, her hair elegantly gathered in a carefree bun. Her complexion was delicate, framed by the soft shadows of dark circles beneath her eyes. She cast a fleeting look in my direction, offered a delicate nod, and softly whispered, "Chloe, you've arrived." Her voice held a certain neutrality, neither warm nor cold, reminiscent of a gentle greeting exchanged with a distant neighbor who had arrived unexpectedly. Neither a smile nor a warm welcome, merely silence speaks volumes. The warmth in my chest extinguished like a match submerged in water. Yet, I compelled myself to set it aside. Perhaps she was simply weary. Perhaps it was never meant to be taken to heart. I gracefully retrieved the gift bag and extended it towards her with a gentle flourish. "My dearest Laura, I am aware that you have been quite overwhelmed of late, so I took the liberty of bringing you some delightful collagen gummies. They are meant to aid in the recovery of your skin. I thought it might offer you a gentle enhancement." She gracefully accepted the bag, her gaze averted from its contents. "Thank you," she replied, her voice devoid of warmth. She then turned gracefully, retreating into the bedroom, and softly closed the door behind her. I found myself standing there, my hands still trembling. For a fleeting moment, time seemed to pause. The silence lingered, thick and uncomfortable. Nathan ran a hand through his hair, a hint of bashfulness in his demeanor. He gently rubbed his palms together, seeking to shift the atmosphere of the moment. "Well, it seems there's a matter at hand," he started, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "At this moment, our space is rather limited. The quaint guest room remains adorned with remnants from Lara's enchanting journey of motherhood. There are some baby items we have yet to embrace, the vintage crib, simply, the clutter we have yet to attend to." He cast a fleeting gaze toward the corner of the living room. "Would you be so kind as to rest upon the couch for the time being? Only for a brief moment in time. This weekend, I shall prepare the room for you, ensuring it is perfectly arranged." He gestured gracefully towards the gray fabric sofa. While it appeared pristine, it remained merely a couch. I mirrored his gesture, and my heart responded with a soft, muted thud. Ah, the couch? In the cozy embrace of the living room? I was aware that my purpose here was not merely for leisure. I journeyed far and wide to offer my assistance with the little one. Yet, is there truly no chamber with a door? Is it merely the living room? Without privacy, without tranquility, merely a shared space that would also serve as my sanctuary? Regardless of the perspective, it seemed. An unwelcome thought slipped into my mind. Am I merely a cherished companion, tending to their needs without the promise of reward? Yet, in that moment, I found myself captivated by the gaze in Evan's eyes. That blend of regret and yearning. He lingered there, reminiscent of a young lad aware of his misstep yet uncertain of the path to redemption. I suppressed the lump in my throat, quelled the ache in my chest, and offered a delicate smile. I caressed his arm softly. "It is truly quite all right. The couch offers ample space. I am but a single soul, content with the simplest of desires. Go forth and attend to your desires. Do not concern yourself with my well-being." A wave of relief graced his features. He appeared as though he had just released a burdensome weight, as if a 50-pound backpack had slipped from his shoulders. "My heartfelt gratitude to you." "Indeed. Allow me to fetch you a glass of water." He glided away into the kitchen. I settled gracefully onto the couch, my fingers delicately brushing against the textured fabric. That subtle disappointment coursed through me, akin to a stone cast into tranquil waters, sending forth ripples that lingered just beyond their end. Perhaps he truly intends to empty the room this weekend. Perhaps I was simply delving too deeply into every little detail. Yet, in the depths of my heart, I found myself pondering whether they perceived me not merely as their mother, but rather as a splendid caretaker, a nanny of exquisite charm. I released a soft, bittersweet laugh. On that enchanting first night, I truly experienced the essence of what it meant to make do. The couch was positioned gracefully before the sliding glass door that opened to the balcony. It possessed a screen, indeed, yet in the sweltering embrace of summer, mosquitoes danced through the air like stealthy ninjas. The high-pitched buzzing danced around my ears, reminiscent of a singular note echoing in an intimate, enclosed space. My arms and legs were adorned with bites, each one a tender reminder, red and itchy, whispering of nature's embrace. To make matters even more challenging, the living room lacked its own air conditioning. June in Connecticut can evoke the sensation of a cozy, enveloping sauna. The window was adorned with a delicate mesh curtain, yet I hesitated to draw it open too far. Those creatures of the night could detect warmth with a precision that rivals the most advanced of seekers. I reclined there, a sheen of perspiration gracing my skin, each part of me adhering to the cushion in a tender embrace. What of the couch itself? A treachery woven in the fabric of elegance. It was not a bed, regardless of its breadth. With each gentle movement, I found myself treading carefully, mindful of the precipice that beckoned just beyond the edge. The spring sighed with each movement, a discordant echo reminiscent of clattering pots in a hushed kitchen. Slumber eluded me. Moreover, I had already devoted half the day to a lengthy bus journey, leaving me quite fatigued. And now, here I found myself, lingering in a state of half-sleep throughout the night, attuned to the soft echoes of Simon's next call drifting through the bedroom wall. It seems I have not found a moment of slumber. Before the sun had graced the horizon, I was awakened by that hauntingly familiar sound, sharp, urgent cries that sliced through the stillness and stirred something profound within my heart. I rose swiftly and glided softly toward the master bedroom. The door stood ever so slightly ajar, inviting a whisper of curiosity. Within the embrace of Lar, Simon was held tenderly, swaying softly in a serene rhythm. Her forehead gently pressed against his, brows delicately furrowed in weariness. Nathan lay in bed, a serene stillness enveloping him as he drifted in the embrace of slumber. Lar lifted his gaze and caught sight of me. Her expression momentarily stilled, a flicker of irritation dancing in her voice as she finally spoke. "Chloe, what brings you to rise so early this morning? Have we disturbed your slumber?" "Oh, certainly not." I was already awake, I murmured gently, striving to maintain a tone that was both light and effortless. I heard the gentle cries of the baby and felt compelled to see how they were faring. Her lips did not mirror my smile. He simply expressed, with a hint of longing, that he is hungry. I was on the verge of offering him nourishment. Then she gracefully turned her body away, a subtle indication that my presence was neither desired nor needed any closer. I withdrew softly, making my way to the living room, my steps becoming delicate, as though I feared disturbing something precious. In the span of 2 days, I found myself embracing the role of the house's unofficial full-time caretaker. Lar nourished the baby with her breast, yet all other tender duties, burping, changing diapers, gently rocking him to slumber, and tidying the ceaseless chaos, rested solely upon my shoulders. Simon possessed a vitality that seemed to belong solely to the innocent hearts of infants. He found it difficult to remain in slumber for long, yearning to be embraced the instant he awoke. I wandered through the living room repeatedly, cradling him in my embrace, until my back ached and my arms felt as though they were encased in stone. As for Lara, she often found herself secluded in the sanctuary of her bedroom. She would claim to be in a state of recovery, yet more frequently than not, I would catch her lost in the glow of her phone, laughter escaping her lips as she delighted in videos or deftly composing messages with her nimble thumbs. On the rare occasions she graced the world with her presence, it was solely to impart her exquisite instructions. "My dear Chloe, the bottles require a gentle sterilization. Chloe, please refrain from placing the baby's clothes in the washer. They must be washed by hand. Chloe, the floor is beginning to gather dust. Would you be so kind as to give it a swift mop? Each word fell upon me like a chore bestowed upon a servant, detached, frigid, and devoid of even the slightest glance. Nathan maintained his familiar, effortless smile, yet he departed early for work and did not return until the evening's embrace. He would bestow upon Simon a fleeting tickle, cradling him for a brief moment, before gently returning him and sinking into the couch, allowing himself to drift into the embrace of the television's glow. Or he would retreat into the home office with a lackluster, "I must attend to some work." To my surprise, he was not as engaged as I had hoped, and witnessing his effortless evasion of responsibility left a lingering bitterness in my heart. Dining became a delicate dance of embarrassment. Laura prepared the meal with grace. Her dishes were vibrant and full of character, infused with the warmth of garlic, the spice of black pepper, and a touch of jalapeno hot sauce. She and Nathan described it as exquisite. For someone like me, with a delicate stomach and a history of indulging in only the mildest, most soothing fare, it was quite an overwhelming experience. Often, I found myself merely nibbling on a delicate salad or unadorned pasta, while the others at the table indulged with joyful abandon. In due course, I found the courage to express my thoughts. "Laura, my stomach feels a touch delicate. Perhaps on your next culinary adventure, you might consider crafting something a touch more delicate? Perhaps a delicate soup would suffice? Or forego the chili?" She remained absorbed in her phone, not even glancing up. "Chloe, you shall simply have to adapt. I'm utterly weary from tending to the little one. I find myself lacking the energy to prepare distinct meals. If it truly doesn't suit your preferences, dining out is always an option." Her voice flowed with a serene grace, carrying an air of gentle politeness. Yet, the sentiment was unmistakable. "Consider yourself fortunate that we are offering you sustenance at all." The sweat glided down my temples in the oppressive heat, and witnessing her nonchalant dismissal stirred something profound within me. Bitterness and sorrow, I find myself at a loss. Like dough that has lingered too long in its rise, it expanded, pressing firmly against my heart. What was I truly seeking in this place? I journeyed far to lend my support, to share in the happiness of their family, to make a meaningful contribution. Yet now, it seemed as though I was settling an age-old debt with my very being, as if this was a form of penance for transgressions I could not recall ever committing. By day, I was the tender caretaker of little ones. Under the veil of night, a humble couch cradles the allure of mosquito bait. Mealtimes seemed like a delightful game of chance. Perhaps there might be something delightful to savor, or perhaps not. Though merely 3 days had passed, I found myself akin to a weary old dog, frayed and gasping for breath. And yet, the most challenging aspect was not the weary limbs or the restless nights. It felt as though I were shrouded in invisibility, merely a placeholder, a fleeting presence, a vessel to be utilized yet never genuinely acknowledged. As the third afternoon unfolded, the heat grew increasingly oppressive. The air hung in a delicate silence, with not a single whisper of a breeze to ruffle the trees beyond. Sunlight cascaded through the windows, a warm embrace that transformed the house into a hidden sanctuary of warmth. The humidity enveloped the skin, heavy and oppressive, rendering each breath a delicate struggle. Surely, Simon must have sensed it as well. He wept endlessly, his cherubic face aglow with a rosy hue, beads of sweat glistening upon his forehead and the delicate tip of his nose. I led him in gentle circles through the living room, gracefully fanning him with a delicate handheld fan, yet it seemed to have no effect. He nestled restlessly in my embrace, his soft cries lingering in the air, gentle yet unwavering. The tender whimpers that stirred a deep ache within my heart. His face was so flushed, it sent a shiver through me. Upon the wall, an aged air conditioner rested, cloaked in dust yet remaining steadfast. It appeared as though it had been untouched for some time, yet it still exuded a sense of functionality. After a brief moment of hesitation, I reached for the remote, whispering to myself that I would only indulge in its glow for a short while, just enough to soothe the atmosphere for the little one. I found myself drenched in perspiration, my shirt clinging to my back as if it were a delicate sheet of damp parchment. I gently pressed the button. The machine stirred gracefully into life. A delicate breeze of cool air wafted forth, tender and invigorating. In mere moments, Simon fell into a serene silence. The sense of relief washed over me in an instant. His eyelids fluttered gently, and his delicate fingers sought the comfort of his mouth, soon surrendering to a serene slumber in my embrace. As I exhaled in relief, ready to sink into the comfort of rest, the bedroom door swung open unexpectedly. Noah glided out, her steps brisk and her brows delicately knitted in concern. She must have caught the gentle hum of the air conditioning. Proceed with grace. In silence, she glided across the room, her hand gracefully pressing the power button on the unit. The fan ceased its gentle whirring in an instant. The refreshing breeze dissipated, swiftly yielding to the heavy, suffocating warmth. It was as if the final breath of life had been cruelly snatched from my lungs. I stood there, cradling Simon, in a state of disbelief, as if the moment were a figment of my imagination. Then she spoke, her voice cutting through the air, bold and utterly unrestrained. "Chloe, might you have any notion of the electricity that device consumes in merely an hour? We find ourselves overwhelmed by the weight of our expenses. Formula embraces the mortgage. We needn't squander our resources by keeping the air conditioning on throughout the day. Kindly make use of the fan. That is truly more than sufficient for a little one." Her tone carried an undeniable certainty. It was a gentle reprimand, a soft whisper of discontent, dismissive, as if she were gently reprimanding a housekeeper who had momentarily strayed from her duties. She averted her gaze, fixated on the unit as if I had transgressed some unspoken financial law. In an instant, a wave of warmth surged through me, enveloping my senses. The sound echoed in my ears. The silence enveloped me, as if a gentle veil had been drawn over my senses, muffling the world beyond my own thoughts. It transcended mere electricity. It transcended the mere notion of reprimand. In that moment, cradling the flushed, perspiring baby, my heart ached with a desire to soothe his unease and bring him comfort. That delicate gesture of concern, born from instinct, had led to my public humiliation. I gazed upon her, my lips parting in an attempt to utter words, yet silence enveloped me. My throat had tightened, as if caught in a delicate embrace. The sting of humiliation, the fire of anger, and a chill that whispers of disappointment, melancholy, surged forth in a magnificent swell. It enveloped me completely. I stood there, drenched in the chill, as if a cascade of icy water had been poured over my very soul. It was not the air conditioning that was turned off. It was the essence of my being that had journeyed this far, fueled by love, by unwavering devotion, and by a fervent hope that I still held significance. And she had cast it down to the earth, then pressed her foot upon it as if it were of no consequence. Noah chose not to linger for an answer. She twirled gracefully, retreated into the bedroom, and gently closed the door behind her with a decisive thud. There I stood, in the heart of the living room, cradling Simon, who had just found solace but was now beginning to stir once more, as the warmth enveloped us like a tender embrace. The atmosphere was thick with an enchanting stillness. It felt as though the very air had been stolen from my lungs. Though my eyes burned with unshed tears, I held steadfast, unwilling to let them fall. Shedding tears would bring no solace to my heart. They had never experienced such a thing. They would merely cast me in a light of diminutiveness, frailty, and sorrow. Instead, I gently guided Simon to the sliding door. There, at least, a gentle breeze would occasionally whisper through the cracks. I took up the fan once more, gracefully waving it back and forth in languid, rhythmic motions. Simon nestled gently within my embrace. His delicate brows knitted together, his visage still aglow and moist, reflecting the tumult of emotions swirling within me. I gazed down as he gently succumbed to slumber. His breath was gentle and steady, his delicate hand resting in a gentle fist against his cheek. He possessed an exquisite beauty. So pure. So utterly vulnerable. As I gazed upon him, a deeper ache blossomed within my heart. What trials and tribulations had I endured in these recent days? Resting upon the couch, my legs adorned with the delicate marks of mosquito kisses. Consuming dishes that disturbed my peace, all while being advised to simply endure. Devoting each moment to nurturing their child, tending to the home, and moving with relentless energy, only to be addressed as if they were merely a servant. And now, reprimanded for seeking comfort in the cool embrace of the air conditioner, all in an effort to nurture their precious little one. 3 enchanting days. That was all it required to leave me feeling utterly spent, like a forgotten cloth in the corner. Yet, it was not merely the weariness that pained the heart. I felt as though I were a mere shadow, overlooked and unseen. It seems that my assistance, my companionship, and my affection were merely tools to be utilized, rather than treasures to be cherished. Not even a whisper of recognition. I had journeyed far to reach this moment. For what purpose, my dear? In their youth and amidst the weight of their emotions, I wondered if perhaps, just perhaps, I could ease their burden a little. Yet, their perspective remained unaltered. All my actions were anticipated, taken for granted. My gestures of kindness were not perceived as such by them. It was a matter of obligation. Commitment. Was it not because we were bound by the ties of family? Is it not true that blood binds us more closely than water ever could? I had envisioned delightful, lively dinners filled with warmth. Of soft, melodic laughter and gentle embraces. Of once more belonging to something beautiful. What I received was the warmth of perspiration, the stillness of the moment, and an ever-deepening longing that went unseen by all. Once, that old saying about the greatest sorrow being a heart turned cold resonated with such dramatic flair. Yet, in this moment, clarity dawned upon me. It was not a tempest of fury. It was not even a matter of heartbreak. It was the gentle, gradual encasement of all that resided within me in a crystalline embrace. I had no desire to engage in a dispute. I preferred not to raise my voice. What purpose does it serve to engage in conflict with one who remains unhearing? Did they truly perceive only their own fatigue, oblivious to the dedication you poured forth? In that suffocating, breathless chamber, a quietude enveloped my being. And in that serene moment, I embraced a choice. That enchanting evening, as Nathan returned home from his day at work and Noah was gently cradled in the bedroom, nurturing their little one, I took a moment to draw him aside. I maintained a serene and gentle tone, mindful not to allow the burdens of the recent days to seep into my words. "Evan," I whispered softly, "I shall be returning home tomorrow." He had just removed his jacket. His hands stilled in the air as he turned to gaze at me, a look of astonishment illuminating his features. "What is this? Are you returning? Is it already time?" "Dearest mother, your stay has been but a fleeting few days. I had the impression you intended to linger a while longer. Could you lend us a hand with the little one?" I averted my gaze from his eyes. "An unexpected matter has arisen at home that requires my attention. It appears that Noah has everything beautifully in hand." I neglected to mention the air conditioner. I refrained from mentioning the couch, the meal, or the commands that echoed like sharp orders. It seemed there was no purpose to be found. Nothing of that sort would alter the present moment. Evan's brow knitted together, a hint of worry lacing his voice. "Mother, might I inquire if this is a result of something Noah mentioned? Did she cause you any distress? Do share your thoughts with me. I shall speak with her. She may be a touch irritable at the moment, yet her intentions are far from unkind. Please, do not take it to heart." I gently shook my head, offering a weary yet tender smile. "It is far from that, dear Evan. Noah and I are doing well. Indeed. I also have my own life to tend to, with matters that require my attention." He gazed at me as if he yearned to engage in a debate, yet the words remained unspoken. He nodded slowly, his lips pressed together in a delicate silence. As dawn approached, I found myself ready, my belongings neatly arranged and waiting for the day to unfold. There was little to behold. Only a handful of garments and my personal essentials. All that I had gathered for them, I chose to leave behind. Nathan lingered by the front door, his eyes glistening with a hint of emotion, making one final attempt. "Mother, there is no need for you to hurry away. Today, I shall attend to the guest room, ensuring it is prepared with care. I shall procure for you a true bed, one that offers comfort and warmth. Would you be so kind as to linger just a while longer? Embrace comfort. I tilted my head slightly, my voice imbued with warmth yet resolute. Not Evan. The moment has arrived. You are dedicated to your full-time career, while Noah embarks on her journey of blossoming into her role as a mother. It is essential for both of you to discover the art of self-sufficiency. Even to my own ears, the words resonated with an undeniable sense of finality. A delicate line etched softly in the sand. I shall not return to offer my assistance in this manner once more. Yet, I was aware that it was the very sentiment I needed to express. Noah remained ensconced within the confines of the bedroom, a world unto herself. Perhaps she lingered in the embrace of slumber. Perhaps she simply felt indifferent to my presence, whether I chose to remain or depart. Strangely, that brought a certain ease to the situation. At the very least, there was no necessity for artifice. Nathan graciously escorted me to the bus station. The journey in the car was serene, laden with unexpressed emotions. He parted his lips several times, only to let out a soft sigh and retreat into silence once more. Just as we approached the station, he gracefully reached into his wallet and retrieved 2 pristine $100 bills. He presented them to me with a touch of shyness and uncertainty. Please, do not harbor any anger. Noah has recently found herself quite overwhelmed. The little one has been quite restless, and she seems to have lost her usual spark. She never intended to come across as unkind. Here, I present this to you. Indulge in a little something special for yourself. I gazed upon the money, a swirl of emotions stirring within me. Could it have been an expression of regret? A reward, perhaps? Could he genuinely think that $200 could compensate for the restless nights, the incessant mosquito bites, the chill of indifference, and the haunting sensation of being unseen? I chose not to accept it. I softly guided his hand away, my voice unwavering, yet an unspoken change lingered in the air between us. I find no desire for it, Evan. Indeed. I possess my own wealth. Embrace it tenderly. Every coin will be cherished with a little one gracing your home. He chose not to engage in a dispute. He gently tucked the bills back into his wallet, his gaze lowered as if lost in thought, struggling to find the right words to express himself. As the car came to a gentle halt at the curb, I gracefully opened the door and stepped out, leaving him no opportunity to accompany me inside. Please do call me once you arrive home, all right? He murmured gently from behind me, a hint of hesitation lacing his voice. I shall, I replied, as I set my suitcase upright with a graceful motion. With a gentle sigh, I turned away and gracefully stepped into the throng, not daring to glance back. As the bus glided along, the world outside unfurling in reverse, my heart found a serene stillness, a tranquility it had long yearned for. It was not anger that stirred within. It was something beyond mere sadness. It was a serene tranquility. A serenity that arose not from ease, but from a profound understanding. As I turned the key and gently pushed open my front door, the familiar embrace of home enveloped me with its comforting warmth. The sunlight poured through the expansive windows, casting a warm, golden hue upon the hardwood floors, which shimmered like liquid amber. The tranquility of the house enveloped me, reminiscent of a long-awaited sigh of relief. I entered the bedroom and gracefully surrendered to the embrace of my bed, allowing my body to melt into the softness of the mattress. I inhaled deeply. The fragrance of freshly laundered linens and warm sunlight danced softly upon the sheets. It carried the fragrance of tranquility, as if it were a cherished part of my essence. The recent days at Evans unfolded like a curious, poignant reverie, a blend of the surreal and the enlightening. I perched gracefully at the edge of the bed, my gaze wandering to the cherished photograph of my husband adorning the wall. His gentle smile gazed back at me, radiating warmth and unwavering steadiness. In my thoughts, I could nearly hear him whispering, "Do not tire yourself too much. Return home and find solace." I whispered to him softly within the depths of my heart. A soft murmur of secrets shared, a gentle farewell. I recalled the moments we devoted ourselves to gathering every penny, all in the name of helping Nathan secure his dream home. In those days, my beloved husband was still by my side. We tenderly withdrew from our retirement fund to secure the down payment. He is merely embarking on his journey, we remarked. Life presents its challenges. Let us extend a helping hand to him. After my husband departed, I continued to navigate the path alone. When Nathan and Lara found themselves unable to manage the mortgage I proposed, Robert graciously insisted on covering $3,000 each month. And I maintained it for more than 2 years. I once held the belief that generosity would be met with heartfelt appreciation. That affection would inspire further affection. Yet, as I reflect upon the past, clarity unfolds before me. The more I offered, the greater their expectations grew. Not out of generosity, but rather as a matter of obligation. So much so that, in their gaze, this aging mother was deemed unworthy of even turning on the air conditioner for her overheated grandson. Those 3 days were not merely exhausting, they were illuminating, akin to a cascade of icy water shattering a cherished illusion I had held close for years. Once, I held the belief that the essence of unconditional love for one's child was a truly noble pursuit. It has become clear to me that there are those who may never express their gratitude. They shall only harbor resentment for the absence of your generosity. The close of the month was drawing near. It is time to embark on that cherished exchange once more. I found myself nestled upon my couch. As I sank into the embrace of my soft, clean, and warm couch, I opened my banking app. The sum may not have been grand, yet it belonged to me, a cherished possession. It was the sanctuary I had crafted for myself through a lifetime of whispering, I am well and require little. As I gazed at the screen, memories danced before me like a delicate film. Lara's icy gaze lingered as she turned off the AC, while Evan's silence hung heavy with guilt, and my restless nights unfolded upon that slender couch. Did it hold its worth? I softly uttered the question into the air. The response arrived without delay. Indeed, it was not. My finger lingered above the well-known transfer page, yet I refrained from pressing it. Instead, I embarked on a journey through a travel site. Explored delightful short getaways along the enchanting Portland coast. As I perused the pages of the community college catalog, a sense of curiosity enveloped me. Introduction to illustration, pottery for beginners. I have resolved my thoughts. The funds I once transferred to them each month? From this moment forward, it shall be I. Not for Evan, my dear. Not for dear Lara. Not to facilitate a smoother path. Yet for me. A woman who devoted the majority of her life to nurturing those around her, now finally deserving the chance to cherish herself. To embrace restful slumber. To savor the delights she adores. To embrace life fully, as a vibrant soul rather than a mere specter. Even if it's merely a fresh pair of walking shoes. Or a serene dinner that allows me to savor each moment without haste. That is not an act of selfishness. That is true dignity. The days that ensued were more tranquil than ever before. In the gentle embrace of morning, would wander through the park, engaging in delightful conversations with the lovely ladies of the neighborhood, sharing tales of their cherished grandkids and blooming garden endeavors. In the gentle afternoons, I would tend to the plants on my balcony, allowing the sun to caress my arms with its warm embrace. As the evening descended, I nestled comfortably on the couch, the gentle hum of the TV providing a soothing backdrop, lulling me into a peaceful slumber that lasted through the night, uninterrupted. That tranquility was not something I imposed upon myself. It unfolded effortlessly, akin to a delicate knot gently loosening. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, I found myself liberated from the illusion of being indispensable. And in that release, I discovered a softer, more exquisite form of freedom. It was 2 or 3 days after the month had drawn to a close when Nathan finally reached out. The instant I lifted the receiver, his voice whispered secrets to me. That delicate, measured tone that hinted at his desires. Dearest mother, might it be that you have overlooked something? With a delicate touch, I held the spray bottle, softly misting the plants that graced the window. At his words, my hand lingered in the air, yet my voice remained unwavering. Oh, I assure you, it has not slipped my mind. What is the reason behind this? He lingered in uncertainty. Ah, the matter of the mortgage, as it weaves through our lives. His voice descended to an even softer whisper. This month, the transfer of funds has yet to be completed. Ah, the mortgage, I murmured, placing the bottle gently aside as I stepped onto the balcony. The garden below was a tapestry of vibrant blooms, with clusters of roses illuminating the space in a symphony of color. I allowed my gaze to linger, my words flowing gently. Evan, I have pondered this deeply. From this moment forward, you and Lara shall take charge of the mortgage on your own. The stillness on the other end was immediate. It was so abrupt that it nearly felt as if the call had vanished into thin air. Continue onward. Both of you have found your paths in the world of work now. Your earnings are quite respectable. It is time for you to embrace the responsibility of nurturing your own abode. My retirement fund did not simply appear by chance. It emerged from years of diligent effort, accumulating each coin with care. I must cherish what remains, not out of extravagance, but in anticipation of a time when I may require care or face illness. I cannot bear the thought of having nothing when that day arrives. Moreover, life encompasses so much more than mere bills and errands. I wish to enroll in a pottery class. Perhaps we could venture north for a few days, where we can stand upon the shore and let the soothing whispers of the ocean serenade us. Is that an unreasonable request? The silence lingered, extending its embrace more profoundly this time. For such a lengthy pause, I nearly believed he had disconnected the call. At last, his voice returned, tinged with a flustered sharpness that betrayed an undercurrent of irritation he struggled to conceal. Mother, what is it that you are trying to convey? We shared a promise. You promised to continue your support until I achieved my promotion. One cannot simply cease without warning. Are you aware of how constrained our circumstances are this month? Alas, there goes $3,000, vanished into the ether. We are unable to address that matter by morning. It was not a request born of desperation. It was a gentle reproach. As if I had shattered a sacred promise. As if I had swept the very foundation from beneath their feet. A soft chuckle nearly escaped my lips. This is the essence of it all. Following all that has transpired. Following the couch, the chilled remnants of a meal, the sharp directives, and that vacant gaze when I activated the air conditioning for their little one. Promises are a delicate dance between two hearts. Respect, too, holds a certain grace. Nathan continued on, unwavering in his resolve. He spoke at length about the considerable expenses of the baby, the stress that had weighed upon Laura, and how they were striving to navigate this new chapter with grace. Then, with a touch of hesitation, I asked, Mom, this isn't still about that air conditioning matter, is it? Oh. Do join me. That was merely a trifle. Pray tell, you are not still harboring any discontent over that, are you? I severed our connection. My voice, though soft, resonated with clarity, a tranquil yet unwavering presence, definitive in its essence. This is not a matter of feeling discontent. It is not a matter of inflicting punishment upon anyone. It is a matter of clarity. Evan, you find yourself in the splendid decade of your 30s. You have secured a position. A cherished family. It is time to embrace maturity and embody the essence of a true gentleman. Embrace the beauty of ownership in all that belongs to you. In the early days, my heart guided me to assist you, for I cherished you and understood the challenges that come with new beginnings. That was an act of grace, not mere obligation. Yet, at this moment, you possess a remarkable sense of stability. You are accumulating wealth. Your home, that cherished abode, is a burden you must bear. That is your responsibility. You express that it is challenging. Indeed, it is. Life offers no simplicity. Yet, one cannot rely on me for support each time the situation grows uneasy. I am willing to lend my assistance for a season, as it has long been my desire to do so. Yet, I cannot bear you upon my shoulders for all eternity. And, to be honest, I have truly earned the privilege of embracing a life that is wholly my own. Once more, silence enveloped the space. Only the sound of his breath, rich and unsteady, whispered through the line like a delicate melody of static. After a lingering silence, he softly murmured, "Oi. I understand completely." Then she gracefully clicked away. I do not. The conversation has drawn to a close. I gazed at the dimming screen, still radiating warmth in my grasp, and released a soft sigh. This is far from finished. I was aware of that. Laura, with her unwavering pride and keen wit, simply could not let it slip away. Not without a tempest. That was undeniably clear. Yet, for the moment, I had firmly established my boundaries. At last, I found myself on the side that was truly mine. As fate would have it, it took but a fleeting half-day for my phone to illuminate with a call from a mysterious landline. I gazed at the screen for a fleeting moment, and within the depths of my heart, I already recognized the familiar presence. I responded with a serene grace. "Greetings. Chloe, my dear. What on earth is this intended to convey?" Lara's voice resonated through the speaker, vibrant and piercing, her passion cutting through the air with undeniable intensity. It seemed she must have sensed that I had blocked her cell, for she took the effort to reach out from another number. "Do you truly believe you can simply withdraw in such a manner?" She responded with a sudden sharpness. "Your promise to assist Nathan with the mortgage lingers in the air, a testament to your unwavering support. So, you have chosen to cease just like that? That doesn't seem quite correct. It lacks sincerity." Her voice trembled with the intensity of her fury, as though I had wrought an unfathomable betrayal upon her heart. As though retreating from their finances were not merely a choice, but a betrayal of the heart. I hesitated to respond immediately. Instead, I softly placed my palm upon my knee, embracing the tender warmth that anchored me in the moment. These were the very hands that had gently rocked her baby into slumber, meticulously scrubbed her dishes, and tenderly folded her laundry, tirelessly devoted yet often unacknowledged. Yet she continued on her path. "Are you aware of the extent of our current expenditures? The formula, the diapers, and the bills are accumulating. This mortgage feels like a heavy weight upon our hearts. Are you truly going to turn your back and leave? Is it truly as simple as that?" She took a moment to catch her breath, then continued with fervor, as if seeking to envelop me in a tide of remorse. "My dearest Chloe, you made a promise. You promised to lend your support until Nathan received that promotion. What shall we do now, my dear? Is it truly possible to conjure $3,000 a month from the ether?" Her words pierced the air like finely crafted arrows, each one laced with a hint of lingering bitterness. Deceiver. Carefree. Self-centered. Thus, I remained silent. I allowed her to express herself, to let everything flow freely. Beneath her fury, I could sense the quiet desperation that lingered. She sought a scapegoat, and I became the most convenient choice. I had no intention of disturbing her cherished moment. Yet, as she expressed her frustrations, my thoughts wandered elsewhere. 3 weeks ago, the oppressive warmth of that living room enveloped us, the baby perspiring and wailing in my embrace, while Noah gracefully stepped out to turn off the air conditioner with a swift, cool motion of her wrist. We find ourselves unable to meet the demands of the electric bill. Here she stood, casting accusations of my supposed heartlessness. Of leaving them behind. Yet, as I found myself within their home, enveloped in heat, deprived of slumber, consuming mere remnants, and laboring like a shadow in the periphery, I wondered where her concern had vanished to in that moment. Their notion of assisting us had never truly embodied a partnership. It was a singular conduit. I offered. They bestowed. Then they anticipated something greater. At last, my voice found its way into the air. My voice flowed with a steady calm, as if I had practiced it in my thoughts 100 times before. You are indeed correct, Laura. I have chosen to cease the transfer of funds. Yet, it was not a mere whim. For quite some time, I have pondered this deeply. I offered my assistance out of a genuine desire to do so. Yet, I have come to the realization that it is time for me to nurture my own well-being. A moment of stillness lingered in the air. A brief pause, laden with unspoken emotions. Then arrived the next wave, more intense, more fervent. How disappointing, dear Chloe. Truly. Are you truly doing this merely to complicate our journey together? Do you truly grasp the implications of defaulting on this mortgage? Are you truly ready to embrace such a profound responsibility? Her voice now carried a captivating new edge. Not merely anger, but a shadow far more profound. A gentle caution. A looming shadow. Yet, I remained unshaken. I maintained a calm demeanor. Her tone eluded my grasp. I responded softly yet with conviction. My dear Laura, that burden was never meant to rest upon my shoulders. The choice of that house was yours alone. Your cherished loan. Your duty. As Evan's mother, I cannot serve as your financial safety net. I offered all that I was able, whenever the moment allowed. That was an act of kindness, not a mere obligation. I am beholden to you in no way. Indeed, you are correct about one aspect. Your journey is filled with challenges. Nurturing a child, cultivating a warm home, balancing life's demands. Everything you see is indeed genuine. Yet, it is your journey to navigate, not my role to support. I assure you, this is not a form of punishment. I have finally ceased the charade of believing I am boundless. Only silence enveloped the space. Let us speak softly. There shall be no protests. It was as if she had come to an abrupt standstill, colliding with an unforeseen barrier that took her by surprise. And then, the call faded away. I lingered for a moment, cradling the phone in my lap, as the screen gently slipped into darkness. The warmth lingered from the call. My fingers moved with grace. My heart feels an unexpected serenity. I believe that could be the conclusion of our tale. Perhaps we have finally traced our boundaries and embarked on our own distinct paths. Yet, life seldom grants such simple reprieve. A whisper within me suggested that Noah had more to unveil. Not at this moment. It began with a gentle phone call from a neighbor. That morning, I had just returned from the ceramics class at the community college. A delicate morsel of clay cradled in my palm. My inaugural creation of a teacup, still tenderly damp and imperfectly formed, yet wholly my own. As I laid it out to dry, the phone suddenly chimed with its call. It was Carol, a cherished friend and devoted companion from our days of volunteering at church. Her voice was soft, as if she were concealing a secret within. Chloe, is all well with your daughter-in-law? Today, Noah graced the rec center with her presence. You mentioned that you severed financial ties with her and referred to her as a freeloader. You claimed she was draining the family's resources and leading her into the depths of postpartum despair. My hand trembled slightly. The delicate teacup almost danced from my grasp. Did she mention that it was at the center? I inquired. In several instances, Diane responded, she expressed it. Initially, I found myself somewhat indifferent. Yet today, she returned with renewed conviction. She is sharing with others that you expressed, and I quote, I would prefer to contribute to a stray dog than to offer another dollar to your home. She is even sharing enchanting pictures with others. My dear Chloe, did you truly utter those words? I gently closed my eyes for a moment, stifling the warmth that threatened to spill forth. Thank you for sharing that with me, Carol, I replied, my voice steady and composed. But I must clarify, that was not my intention. I never imagined it would be so, she sighed softly. Yet whispers linger in the air. To declare that you are cold feels rather harsh, almost unkind. That you have chosen to turn away from a struggling new mother. Once our conversation came to a close, I gracefully opened the community group chat on my phone. The collective was known as Sunnybrook Neighbors United. More than 100 members. I effortlessly scrolled up and discovered it in no time. Noah shared a glimpse of a private message through a screenshot. It was a delightful exchange captured in a chat log, revealing a message from my heart. At times, the warmth of a dog's heart surpasses that of humanity. At the very least, they possess the grace of gratitude. And beneath that, she had inscribed. It seems that some individuals perceive me as a mere canine, it appears. The post was already aglow with likes, shares, and heartfelt comments of concern. Once more, I gently closed my eyes. The message lingered in my thoughts. It belonged to me. A message sent discreetly to a cherished friend on the day I finally severed ties with Nathan and Laura. A message from that dear friend graced my phone. "Your tenderness is quite pronounced," I replied, a blend of jest and a touch of bitterness in my voice. At times, the warmth of a dog's heart surpasses that of humankind. Not for a moment did I imagine that message would find its way onto the town's bulletin board, displayed for all to see. And then there existed yet another delightful post. A photograph of the delightful cotton onesies I carefully selected from the mall just last month. In those days when I held on to the hope that Noah would one day express her gratitude. At this moment, they have found their place upon a resale platform. The inscription whispered, "Freshly unveiled. Untouched and pristine. A gift from Emile, though it feels rather antiquated. Feel free to reach out if you find yourself intrigued." I gazed at the screen, my heart descending into a weighty, chilling abyss. I devoted an entire afternoon to selecting those. Not a single word of gratitude had escaped her lips. "I have just shared them online for sale." I chose to remain silent. There was no dispute. I chose not to pursue the effort of vindicating my reputation. I have departed from the group chat. I have muted my notifications. I have gracefully removed the contacts that no longer serve a purpose in my life. Yet, Noah had more to say. 3 days later, I chanced upon her outside the grocery store. With one arm cradling the baby tenderly, she gracefully maneuvered the shopping cart with the other. She nestled herself close to me, her voice a soft whisper yet laced with a sharp edge. "Ah, Chloe. Are you filled with joy now?" Whispers of intrigue danced through the neighborhood. "You've truly ignited a delightful intrigue." I remained silent. "I have just reached for a delightful bunch of bananas," she continued, her tone becoming more pointed. "Why did you feel the need to reveal to others that I am a parasite? Do you believe it brings me joy to enter the post office and feel the weight of their gazes, as if I am less than I am? Even in this place, people gaze upon me as if I am but dust beneath their feet." My gaze fell upon her. Thus, I remained silent. She leaned in slightly, her eyes narrowing with intrigue. "Are you not at all filled with a hint of trepidation? One day, Simon will mature and uncover the true essence of the remarkable woman his grandmother was." That brought me to a halt. I gazed deeply into her eyes, and for the first time in days, I allowed my voice to flow freely. "Not Laura. What fills me with trepidation is the thought of Simon maturing and discovering the way his mother treated the woman who once cradled him tenderly as she drifted into a peaceful slumber on a sunlit afternoon." She stood still, caught in a moment of stillness. I gently urged my cart forward a few steps, then spoke once more, my gaze lingering ahead, unturned. "I am not your Adam. I am not here to serve you. Do you wish to cast aspersions upon me, weave falsehoods about my character, and barter away the treasures I entrusted to you? Very well. But do not presume that I shall continue to yield and offer you fragments of my essence for you to trample upon. Simon is not without family. And you are not hindered. Cease the charade of requiring salvation." Her cheeks bloomed with a delicate hue of indignation. "What is it that you desire from me?" I paused. Transformed. Gazed tenderly at the infant cradled in her embrace. Delicate movements, gracefully reaching for the warm embrace of the sunlight. Then I yielded, but only slightly. "I desire nothing at all." I spoke. "I simply wish to embrace the beauty of life as it unfolds. Rest in the embrace of the bed I have provided. Indulge in the fruits of my labor. Wander to the places that call to my heart, savoring the delights that please my palate." Do you truly believe that my feelings for Simon are anything less than profound? My affection for him surpasses the bounds of words. Yet, I have resolved to no longer allow that love to be a means for others to rise above me. Merely so you may cast your ire upon me for my presence. As I stepped into the store, a sense of anticipation enveloped me. From behind, I caught the soft sound of Simon's whimper, a tender prelude to the gentle cry of a newborn. Noah chose not to follow. As the evening descended, I gracefully donned my loungewear, set the kettle to boil, and arranged a basin of warm water for a serene foot soak. The steam ascended in delicate spirals, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, my quaint abode exuded a serene tranquility, seemingly unscathed by the clamor of the preceding weeks. At that moment, my phone vibrated softly. It was none other than Evan. It had been a while since our last exchange at the store that day. His message was brief yet poignant. "Dearest mother, I offer my sincerest apologies. I am aware that Noah has crossed a line this time." I gazed at the words, my thumb delicately poised above the screen. Yet, I chose to remain silent. While apologies can be a sweet gesture, this one came too late, lacking the warmth it needed. For the past 2 weeks, my days have unfolded in a serene hush, almost dreamlike in their tranquility. There are no messages to share. Kindly refrain from making phone calls. Not a single word from Carol, not even a fleeting acknowledgement. It felt as though the tempest had at last calmed, leaving behind only gentle echoes of its passage. Until that enchanting afternoon. As I sat gracefully upon a park bench, observing the gentle caress of the wind through the trees, my phone buzzed once more, this time revealing an unknown number. "Mother." The voice on the other end trembled, filled with a sense of urgency. "It is I. Simon is currently suffering from a high fever. The temperature hovers around a sweltering 102 degrees. He seems distant, and I find myself at a loss for how to proceed." It was Evan, a name that lingered in the air like a sweet melody. His voice trembled delicately. "I have been attempting to contact the hospital, yet securing an appointment remains elusive. Noah seems to be avoiding my calls. I find myself at a loss, uncertain of her whereabouts. I find myself at a loss, unsure of the path ahead." My heart tightened with a gentle ache. "My dear, may I inquire about your whereabouts?" I inquired. "I am on my way at this very moment." He whispered the name of the hospital, and without a moment's hesitation, I seized my bag with a sense of urgency. I found myself lost in the present, untouched by the echoes of what once was. I found myself lost in the echoes of words spoken and those left unspoken. All I understood was that my dear grandson was unwell. And I found my purpose. The year unfolded in a whirlwind of turmoil. The sweet, innocent cries of children resonated softly through the halls. Nathan lingered at the triage desk, beads of perspiration tracing down his shirt, his arms weary as he cradled the fragile, flushed form of Simon against his shoulder. The delicate hand of the baby hung gracefully, tenderly clutching at his father's collar. His delicate form radiated warmth, his head nestled against Evan's neck as he emitted gentle, sorrowful whimpers. Evan's gaze flitted between the unending queue before him and the delicate, perspiring child cradled in his embrace. He appeared as a man coming undone, engulfed by emotions, utterly at a loss. Then, beside him, a delicate flutter captured his gaze. At the neighboring desk stood a graceful older woman, her silver hair cascading softly, enveloped in a navy cardigan that draped elegantly over her slender shoulders. She cradled a feverish toddler tenderly in her arms, her fingers gracefully searching through her bag for an insurance card. At her feet lay a child's backpack, accompanied by 2 substantial packs of diapers. The child nestled against her shoulder, eyes shimmering with unshed tears, lower lip quivering from the echoes of recent sorrow. The lady murmured softly into his ear. "Stay strong, my dear. Your grandmother will ensure you are signed in. We shall visit the doctor shortly, shall we?" Nathan stood still, caught in a moment of unexpected stillness. It struck him like a sudden spark of inspiration. A cherished memory. He had once been that feverish young lad. Within the serene confines of a hospital. In the embrace of night. Weeping softly. And she, his mother, had been the one standing for hours in that very line, cradling him with one arm, while the other held the necessary paperwork. She knelt gracefully to offer him water. She whispered sweet reassurances, her own eyes betraying a gentle heaviness of slumber. She had devoted the entire night to him. It had slipped from his mind until this very moment. His throat constricted, and an unfamiliar warmth surged behind his eyes. He gazed down at Simon, his beloved son, enveloped in fever, seeking solace in his embrace. And for the first time, the apology was offered, not to his child, but to the woman who was absent, unable to receive those heartfelt words. "Forgive me," he murmured softly. Upon my arrival at the hospital, I discovered that Simon had already been admitted. He nestled against my chest, his delicate face aglow, his breath soft and gentle. A delicate hand grasped my blouse, holding on as if it were a lifeline. Nathan sat beside me, his shoulders gently drooping, enveloped in a quiet stillness. After a lingering silence, he finally spoke, his voice low and raspy, "I'm sorry, for everything." I averted my gaze from him. My gaze remained fixed upon Simon. "For how long has the fever lingered?" I inquired softly. 3 days, he murmured, his voice a soft caress in the air. Noah remarked that it was merely a touch chilly. I placed my trust in her, convinced that this too would fade away. Yet this morning, he lingered in the realm of dreams, reluctant to awaken fully. In that moment, I realized it was far more than merely a cold. I offered a subtle nod, my lips remaining sealed. Nathan released a deep, lingering sigh. "My dearest Laura." She attended a gathering hosted by a dear friend the other evening. I chose not to pursue it further. I found myself lost in thought. Oh, how I failed to consider. I turned to gaze at him then, my eyes unwavering, piercing. "Your esteemed father, Evan. Your son endured a fever for 3 days, and neither of you took any action. You continued to embrace your daily endeavors. He ventured out to revel in the night's enchantment. And throughout that time, your darling was aflame with fever." His head fell gently, as though the very essence of life had been drawn from him, reminiscent of a balloon gracefully deflating after a sudden puncture. In another part of the town, Noah found herself enduring a moment that felt like the most profound humiliation of her existence. The day prior, she had elegantly shared a photo on Facebook, her pride evident in every pixel. She adorned a chic camisole, her lips glistening, as she posed gracefully with her close friends at a fashionable cafe. Read the caption. "Embracing motherhood does not require the loss of one's essence. A child is neither a justification nor a confinement." The comments flowed in swiftly. "Enchanting beauty. Your radiance is enchanting. Motherhood suits you beautifully." Noah smiled softly, tapped a like, and leaned back, a sense of contentment washing over her. Yet, a fresh remark soared to the forefront. It was a message from her former college roommate, now a dedicated pediatric nurse at a nearby hospital. She penned her thoughts. "It's quite amusing, your child is currently an hour away, battling a 102 fever. By all means, embrace your true self." The thread fell into a hushed stillness. One of the women at the table, a person Noah scarcely recognized, cast a fleeting glance in her direction and remarked with a hint of indifference, "Perhaps you should refrain from lamenting about your mother-in-law's lack of assistance. It appears that you may not be taking the steps to assist yourself." Noah stood still, her cheeks paling in an instant. The brunch lost its spark. She departed without a farewell. She swiftly seized her bag and dashed out the door. She chose not to return home. I chose not to visit the hospital. Instead, she lingered in her car, gently scrolling through cherished old photos. Most of those she had once regarded with a dismissive glance. One, in particular, captivated her heart. A tender image of Margaret cradling Simon, softly patting his back to coax a gentle burp from him. It was a photograph she had long since erased. Described it as tedious and overly attached. Yet, in a most unexpected turn, it had been lovingly restored from a backup. She gazed intently at Chloe's expression. Gentle, tender, gazes brimming with affection. She recalled teasing her with a playful smile. Reaching out to her too frequently. Reflecting on the moment she shared the delightful baby clothes that Margaret had lovingly chosen. She remarked that they were too old-fashioned, attempting to sell them online for a modest sum. Someone had skillfully negotiated the price to a sum even less than that of a humble cup of coffee. And just like that, a delicate fissure appeared within her. She lingered in the car, tears cascading down her cheeks for a span of 2 full hours. Her makeup cascaded down her cheeks, a delicate reminder of the evening's emotions. Her voice became a whisper, tinged with a delicate rasp. The following evening found me still by Simon's side in the hospital. At long last, he had emerged from the grip of the fever. His breathing had grown deeper, more rhythmic. He nestled against my chest, one hand gently grasping my shirt. Nathan gently drifted into slumber beside me. Sleep had eluded me. In the stillness of the night, just past the hour of 2, my phone stirred with a gentle vibration. It came from Laura. It is not a call. Not a message. A message conveyed through electronic means. The subject line remained unfilled. The message was uncertain, fragmented. A sincere apology, devoid of justifications or allure. She penned her thoughts. I attributed our troubles to the complexities of mother-in-law dynamics, when in reality, it was my own lack of effort that lay at the heart of it all. I misrepresented your words. I parted with the garments you once cherished and found amusement in the memory. That was not quite right. Everything, without exception. I often feel like I fall short as a mother. I have not fulfilled my role as a daughter-in-law as I should have. I understand that the hour is late, yet I earnestly hope you can trust me when I express that I have come to realize the truth at last. A photo was included. A cherished memory of us, joyfully laughing in the kitchen, our hands dusted with flour from the delightful act of baking cookies together. It was a truly heartfelt moment. An exquisite choice. I gazed at that picture for what felt like an eternity. With a gentle motion, I placed the phone face down upon the nightstand and allowed my eyes to drift shut. In the weeks that ensued, Simon experienced a few more fevers, as is common with infants. Yet, on this occasion, Nathan and Noah refrained from reaching out to me in a flurry of distress. They discovered the answers together. At times, they would send me a message. Mother, do you think this resembles a rash? Shall we consider alternating between Tylenol and Motrin? I often responded. However, I began to respond a bit later. Deliberately. Not out of anger. For they must first embark on their own journey of discovery. Noah also sent messages. Brief and sweet. Gracious. Always cool, yet never harsh. The edge in her voice had softened. I did not overlook her presence. I chose not to hasten the process of mending our differences. I no longer felt the need to hurry through anything. We were not bound by certainty. Perhaps we were indeed journeying toward the right path. The blossoms on my balcony have graced me with their beauty once more. With tender care, I repotted each one, gently loosening their roots, delicately trimming their leaves, and renewing the soil with a touch of grace. That evening, the sunlight cascaded across my living room floor in gentle, golden streaks. As I nestled into the embrace of the couch, a warm cup of tea cradled in my hands, I gently turned the pages of the travel guide I had once set aside, its promise of adventure beckoning me once more. And for the first time in an age, I felt a profound understanding resonate within me, as if it were woven into the very fabric of my being. A fulfilling life transcends mere survival. It's not about giving until all is lost. A fulfilling life is one in which you are free to embrace your own space without the need to plead for it. In a place where kindness flows freely, requiring no effort to attain. Where you nurture your essence. Not to make a statement, but because you truly deserve the tenderness. I found myself rooted in place. My heart had not anticipated another departure. Yet, I was no longer the mother who hurried to every call. I was not the woman who reached beyond herself to escape solitude. I was not the unseen presence sustaining a home in quietude. I was truly myself. The connections in my life were gently mending. The beloved child was still blossoming. And my days, my truly vibrant and fulfilling days were just unfolding. This time, I was embracing them for my own heart's delight.